In this video, I'm going to discuss the Indian government program Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, referred to as SSA, which translates to English as the Education for All movement. This program, which was enacted in 2001, allows for free education for all children aged 6 to 14 in India. It is the 86th Amendment to the Indian Constitution. I have special interest in this law because although I'm working in China, I've done extensive work in India working on girls' rights to education. In 2017, I completed a Fulbright grant working in Varanasi and Nagpur, creating a series of murals with a theme of women's empowerment through girls' education. I worked with many local artists as well as girls from an orphanage to create the work. I also taught workshops for the girls, empowering them to use their voice to promote change. While working on this project, I heard over and over again how SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, has changed the landscape for women in India. In a country with a long history of caste oppression, this program has had a dramatic effect on the plight of girls as it has provided a pathway to a brighter future. However, many problems still exist, and although education is compulsory, many poor children, mostly females, do not get the education that they deserve. I will discuss that more in a bit. First, let's investigate a bit more about India and its history of education policy. With a population of 1.35 billion, 1 in every 6 people in the world live in India. It is the second most populated country in the world, second only to China. Throughout India's long history, society has been divided by a hierarchical structure known as the caste system. Believed to have been formed over 3,000 years ago, it is the longest surviving form of social division. Born from Hindu texts, the caste system divides the population into 4 main groups, with the Brahmins at the top. A final group of people, referred to as the Dalits or untouchables, are not considered to be in one of these main caste groups. Although this system was deemed illegal after India's independence from Britain in 1947, the system is still socially intact in many ways. Affirmative action policies have helped to change the landscape for many. However, generations of repression of the lower castes and untouchables has led to extreme poverty, stigmatization, and institutionalized discrimination. To fight societal inequity in education, India has enacted a series of policies to promote equality for all children. Some of the major policies since independence include the following. The Kathari Commission of 1964-66. The 42nd Constitution Amendment of 1976. The National Policy on Education of 1986. The District Primary Education Program of 1994. And the 89th Constitutional Amendment, the SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, of 2001, which is what we are discussing today. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was spearheaded by Indian Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Goals include universal education access, regardless of social status or gender, and promotion of high-quality education. This was accomplished by providing compulsory education to all children ages 6 to 14. The program helps educate 192 million children by opening new schools, improving existing schools, adding teachers, improving quality of education through training of faculty, focusing on female education and special needs children, and bringing technology into the classroom. The SSA led to the Right of Education Act, or RTE, of 2009, which reinforces the mandate of SSA. It also limits the student-to-teacher ratio. The Right to Education Act mandates a 25% reservation for spots in private schools for disadvantaged communities and has policies in place to reduce dropouts. It enacts teacher qualification standards and allocates 70% of costs of implementation to the central government. The RTE also expands target goals into 2020. There are many strengths and positive outcomes following the advent of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. According to the Joint Review Mission of SSA of 2008-9, the number of out-of-school children dropped from 4.5 to 2.8 million. There is now a proposed extension for compulsory education, changing the cutoff age to 16 instead of 14. There have been huge increases in numbers of new schools and facilities, nearly reaching set goals in each category. Some critics see weaknesses in the program. They cite low passage rates on teacher recruitment tests, shortages of teachers, and low education statistics in reading and math. The government is mandated to provide free education to children 6 to 14. However, parents are not mandated to send their children to school. According to the Multidimensional Poverty Index, which measures several factors contributing to deprivation beyond simple income rates, 55.3% of the population are considered multidimensionally poor, with an additional 18.2% near the poverty line. Given these alarming rates, many families are reluctant to send their children to school, especially girls. The number of years of schooling for a girl is 4.8 versus a boy at 8.2. I have witnessed families unwilling to allow their female children to attend school because they are losing the potential income they could earn begging or working as child laborers. The prospect for girls is especially dire, as many are expected to work in the home. According to UNICEF, 27% of girls in India are married by the age of 18, and only 26.8% of Indian women make up the workforce. If parents are willing to send their child to school, every child is afforded the opportunity to get a free public education. There are many more schools and classrooms available for students. Through equal education access, all students, and notably girls, have the possibility for a better future. Teachers have increased training and available positions. They are also held to higher standards and therefore have more accountability. Policies have been put in place to improve the status of teachers. The education policies in India are of special interest to me because of my social action community art projects. I hope to continue my mission of promoting education for girls in India and elsewhere through highly visible mural projects. The goal is to be part of the change of hearts and minds of the population so that families access the available resources made possible through Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and decide to send their girls to school.